was a cold, moonless night when Mark, a weary traveller, found himself on a desolate road in the heart of the countryside. The dense fog clung to the ground, creating an eerie ambience that sent shivers down his spine. The only source of light was the dim glow of his car's headlights, casting long shadows that seemed to dance in the darkness. Mark had chosen this route as a shortcut to his destination, hoping to save time on his long journey. The radio crackled with static, adding to the uneasy silence that enveloped the lonely road. As he drove further into the night, the road became increasingly narrow and winding, surrounded by dense woods that seemed to close in on him. Suddenly, Mark noticed a flickering light in the distance. As he approached, he saw an old, dilapidated mansion emerging from the fog. The mansion loomed over the road, its windows shattered and its walls covered in ivy. Despite the obvious signs of abandonment, the flickering light seemed to beckon him closer. Compelled by curiosity and a touch of fear, Mark parked his car and cautiously approached the mansion. The front door creaked open with an eerie groan, as if inviting him in. Hesitant but intrigued, Mark stepped inside, the air heavy with the musty smell of decay. The interior was as haunting as the exterior, with dusty furniture covered in white sheets and a grand staircase that led to the upper floors. The flickering light led Mark through a series of dimly lit corridors, each step echoing in the emptiness. Whispers seemed to linger in the air, but Mark couldn't discern their origin. As he explored deeper into the mansion, Mark stumbled upon a room with an ancient mirror. To his horror, the reflection staring back at him was not his own. The face in the mirror bore a ghastly visage, eyes hollow and a twisted grin that sent a chill down his spine. Panicking, he stumbled backward, only to find the corridor behind him had changed, trapping him in a labyrinth of shifting walls. Desperation set in as Mark realized he was not alone. Ghostly figures emerged from the shadows, their eyes filled with sorrow and longing. They reached out to him with spectral hands, and Mark could feel the icy touch on his skin. Whispers turned into haunting moans, recounting tales of tragedy and despair that seemed to echo through the ages. Frantically searching for an escape, Mark found himself back at the entrance of the mansion. The flickering light that had drawn him in now revealed itself as a spectral lantern, held by the ghost of a long-lost resident. The ghostly figure pointed towards the exit, a silent plea in its eyes. Realization struck Mark. The spirits sought release from their eternal torment. Gathering his courage, he followed the ghost's guidance through the shifting corridors, unlocking the secrets of the mansion's tragic past. With each revelation, the spirits found solace, their anguished moans fading into an ethereal calm. As Mark reached the exit, the mansion began to crumble behind him, consumed by the darkness it had harbored for so long. The fog lifted, and the moonlit night returned to silence. Mark found himself back on the desolate road, his car the only witness to the haunted tale. With a heavy heart, he continued his journey, haunted by the echoes of the past. The road stretched on, seemingly endless, a reminder that some stories are best left undisturbed in the shadows of the night.
The night was thick with darkness as Emily, an adventurous soul, embarked on a road trip through the remote countryside. Guided by her unwavering spirit and the glow of her car's headlights, she found herself on a narrow, winding road, flanked by an ancient forest known as the Whispering Woods. The trees, gnarled and twisted, seemed to reach out with skeletal branches that intertwined overhead, creating a canopy that swallowed the moonlight. The air was heavy with an ominous stillness, and the only sound that pierced the silence was the soft murmur of leaves rustling in the unseen breeze. The road snaked deeper into the heart of the woods, an otherworldly tunnel with no end in sight. As Emily drove further into the abyss of trees, the atmosphere became suffused with an unsettling energy. Shadows danced along the edges of the road, their shapes morphing into grotesque forms that seemed to mimic the ancient spirits of the forest. Her surroundings felt like a realm where reality and the supernatural converged. Suddenly, Emily's headlights flickered, and the engine sputtered. Panic set in as the car came to a halt in the midst of the whispering woods. She tried to restart the engine, but it remained stubbornly silent. Alone and surrounded by the enigmatic darkness, Emily decided to venture out on foot, hoping to find help or a sign of civilization. As she walked along the desolate road, the forest seemed to come alive with whispers. Faint voices echoed through the trees, speaking in a language that sent shivers down her spine. The whispers were indistinct, like a haunting melody that played just beyond the edge of perception. Emily's heart raced as the voices grew louder, enveloping her in an eerie chorus. Through the trees, Emily glimpsed ethereal lights dancing in the distance. Drawn by a mysterious force, she followed the ghostly glow deeper into the heart of the whispering woods. The lights led her to an ancient clearing, where a circle of moss-covered stones stood in solemn silence. In the center of the clearing, a spectral figure materialized, a cloaked entity with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. The figure beckoned Emily closer, its outstretched hand a silent invitation. Intrigued and fearful, Emily approached, compelled by an unseen force. As she entered the circle of stones, the forest erupted with a cacophony of whispers. The voices spoke of ancient rituals, long-forgotten tales, and the spirits that guarded the secrets of the whispering woods. Emily felt a connection to something beyond the realm of the living, as if the forest itself held memories that transcended time. The spectral figure spoke to her in a language unknown to mortal ears, revealing the tragic history of the whispering woods. The forest had long been a haven for lost souls, trapped between worlds, yearning for release. Emily realized that her journey was not a mere coincidence. She was chosen to be a conduit for the spirit's stories. As the figure faded back into the shadows, Emily was left with a profound sense of purpose. The whispers ceased and the lights dimmed. The ancient stones stood silent, and the oppressive darkness lifted. Emily retraced her steps, guided by an invisible force that led her back to her stranded car. With a newfound understanding of the whispering woods, Emily restarted her car, the engine roaring to life. The forest, once foreboding, now exuded an air of tranquility. As she drove out of the ancient woods, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that the spirits had found solace through her, their stories now woven into the fabric of the whispering woods. The night, once shrouded in mystery, gave way to the breaking dawn. Emily continued her journey, forever changed by the haunting experience that unfolded beneath the twisted branches of the whispering woods. The road stretched ahead, winding through the waking world, carrying with it the echoes of a supernatural encounter that defied the boundaries of time and space.